on Sun Valley. Daily local news from beautiful Sun Valley, Idaho.
I'm Michael David with Eye on Sun Valley Sports, and it's my pleasure to be joined by the 2019 Youth Women Border Cross champion, Zoe Baca. Zoe, congratulations. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Zoe, you're going to be a sophomore at Wood River High School. You were national champion in the Border Cross in 2016. You were on the varsity soccer team. You're doing it. You're doing it all. What's it like to be living this life here in Sun Valley?
It's really fun. I mean, playing soccer, snowboarding, you don't really get a break, but it's nice.
Yeah, but it's stuff that you obviously have a passion for. You've been ski on a snowboard. Did you ever ski, or was it snowboard?
Ski racer.
Ski racer for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then when did you make the switch to snowboarding?
So I did double for a little bit.
Oh,
I think
okay.
I was like 9 or 10.
Right.
I did double. I would ski like Saturdays, snowboard Sundays.
Okay.
I went full snowboard.
And was that like a family requirement? You had to do skiing too, or was it?
Well, my sister and I both were ski racers, and then she went full snowboarding, and then I was a ski racer for a little bit, and then I went full snowboarding.
Right. And I've interviewed your sister Peyton before, who's also at the top of this sport. You being how many years younger than her?
Two.
Was she someone that did that motivate you to push you harder?
Yeah, I mean, in soccer and snowboarding, I've always wanted to beat her, be better than her.
Right.
Score more goals, get a faster time trial.
Right. And it's a pretty healthy competition, or does it get intense sometimes?
It's intense sometimes.
That's awesome. I was looking before, doing some research, and I saw that you came in third place in the Kinder Cup. Was that a motivation to be where you are now?
Yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah. Why border cross? That's as your discipline.
So my dad worked for the U.S. snowboard team.
Yep.
And they were just border cross. So I always kind of grew up knowing border cross.
Right.
And a little bit of pipe, but mostly border cross. So it was something I always enjoyed to do.
Sure. And you grew up here in Sun Valley, beautiful Baldy Mountain in the background here. What about this mountain makes it good for where you are now?
Well, just like all the terrain and like all the people, everyone helping you out, knowing how fast you're going and everything just really helps.
Right. And but there's no border cross type of setup here. What do you do to train and kind of get at least in that mindset?
You just ride, honestly, and like Roundhouse, Olympic Lane is like the most helpful for border cross.
Right.
Going fast.
And you're a member of the Sun Valley Ski Education Foundation. That's a team together, and I'm sure that even though you're on your own when you're on the course, but that team aspect is important, isn't it?
And it's not a team sport, but it is a team sport. It helps a lot to have like all the guys on my team, all the girls on my team with their support.
Right. Did you have some time that you thought maybe I'm going to get in the pipe and be up in the air doing all those aerials and things like that, or was it always like, hey, I want to be a border crosser?
Mostly pipe. I liked pipe. I used to compete in pipe.
Right.
Never liked slopestyle. Not a big fan of jumps.
You want to keep it
I
on
like staying on the ground or going fast.
Right. But going fast that border cross to me it seems almost a little scary. You got to have some nerves going when you're in the gate and you've got your fellow competitors that you're gonna be battling. It's a little
intense.
Yeah. What's your mindset kind of in the gates?
I'm very nervous at the start of the gates. I just kind of am like, okay, Zoe, if you get down, you'll be fine. And then I don't really think about anybody else.
Right. And then do you think about your competitors once you're on the course? I mean, you obviously do to a certain extent, but is your main focus on just your line and what you're doing?
And my main focus is not falling most of the time.
Oh, really?
And then, I'm kind of, sometimes you'll look back and like see where everyone else is, or like if they're in front of you, you'll see how far they are, but that's not really my focus when I'm on there.
Right. Did you have any professional influence along the way that kind of you modeled your work ethic or your style or anything like that?
Yeah, so Lindsay Jacobellis and Hagen Kearney were there for me 2016 when I won nationals.
Right.
So Andy Gilbert was there too, but then they were also there helping me, so that helped me a lot, gave me a lot of confidence. They told me how to work the course.
Right, and then that was from two people that had been there and got to the top. So, I think that it's so cool to see that you've stepped out of the shadow of your sister who did so well. And did you know that was going to happen? When did you know, hey, I'm pretty good at this. I'm going to keep at it.
Every year I had gone to nationals, I had never done very well. And then the first year I won, I had like been winning all my heats, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of good at this.
Right. And
then it kind of just boosted my confidence for the next few years, which really helped.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, and you've done some amazing things at a young age already. And so, after we come back from a short break, I want to talk about kind of what you've done with your racing recently and what the future holds for you. We'll be back after this short message.
Davis Embroidery, screen printing and promotional products keeps your logo fresh and your message strong. As the Wood River Valley's one-stop shop for brand support, Davis Embroidery will help you make a lasting impression on your business and your customers. Add your logo to employee uniforms, polos, caps, jackets, t-shirts, water bottles, tote bags, or pins. Davis Embroidery will help you find the right product that fits your company's image and budget. Getting your logo viewed by customers, impressions matter and create top-of-mind recognition. With excellent customer service and quality brands, partnering with Davis Embroidery screen printing and promotional products is a winning marketing strategy. Visit our Ketchum showroom Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, or online at davisembroidery.com.
I'm Derek Agnew, General Manager of Zenergy Health Club and Spa, and I want to take you inside and show you what we've done with our new Pivot Studio, which is going to blow you away. The therapists tell me that Pivot really is the game changer. It fills that final gap that we were missing at Zenergy, things they could not do in our main gym.
The recent addition of the Pivot Studio has meant wonders to me as a physical therapist. I can now take care of the most vulnerable post-operative patient, but I can include programming that challenges the most elite athlete.
No matter your taste or personal style, the shopping in Sun Valley has what you need for a day in the mountains or elegant night on the town. From bike sales, rentals, repair, outdoor accessories, and souvenirs to high-end, on-trend fashion and sportwear, including a hip, modern women's boutique, there is something for everyone in the Sun Valley Village. Don't forget about the kids, as stepping foot in the toy store is a dream come true for the little ones. The Sun Valley Village shopping options blend a touch of European style with Main Street USA hospitality, all in a charming mountain town setting.
Welcome back. I'm here with Sun Valley Ski Education Foundation snowboard team member Zoe Baca. Zoe, you went to Copper Mountain just recently when there was snow on the ground, and brought home the national championship. Talk to us about the competition there.
So I don't really, we live in a small town, so when we do like our regional competitions, you don't really race against much of the girls that you see at nationals.
Right.
But I know most of the girls, so it was kind of nice knowing girls and then not racing against people that I completely didn't know.
Sure, sure.
So we had girls from Australia that I knew, which was really fun.
Right, right. And did you go in with the mindset, I'm gonna win this thing?
Yeah, for the past 2 years I got second and then I got fifth. So
Right.
I was going into it being like, well, got to get first or second.
Right, and you're at this point you were at the top of your age, of the age bracket,
Yeah.
right. So your expectations of yourself were high, and you fulfilled them.
Yeah.
Congratulations, that's
Thank you.
awesome. When you won it back in 2016, was it a totally different environment at the time?
Yeah. It was a different environment. No one really thought, like, I was a good snowboarder, but no one really thought, wow, she's gonna go win nationals.
Right.
So like going into finals, racing against some girls that I knew, and then kind of like getting out in front of them for the whole way
Right.
was crazy.
So that's a different, like you surprised them and shocked them
Yeah.
that time, but they knew you were.
This year they kind of knew I was a force to reckon
Right.
with.
So and can you feel that? Like, hey, they're shooting at me.
Yeah.
I've got the target on my back.
Yeah.
But you thrive. I think you thrive on that.
Yeah,
a little bit,
I do a
don't
little
you?
bit.
That's fantastic. So do you now? What's next for you? You'll move up to the open age
Yeah.
bracket, correct?
So that will be me racing against anyone who wants to be an open. Some girls who go to the World Cup, some who are on the NORAM circuit, which
Right.
is what I'll do next year.
Okay.
And then in 2 weeks I'll be heading to Mount Hood
Sure,
for Gold
sure.
Camp to train with the U.S. snowboard team.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
And one of those young ladies that you'll be competing against, you've been her roommate for quite a while. How's that going to be racing against your sister?
It'll be good competition, maybe a little unhealthy and healthy sometimes, which will be fun for me.
Yep.
It should be really fun though.
Right. Now, bordercross it's a relatively new discipline as far as the lot of the skiing and snowboarding stuff. It's an Olympic event.
Yeah.
Is that something that you aspire towards?
Eventually it is, but also going to college and playing soccer is a big goal for me.
Oh, great.
Playing D1 or D2 is a goal.
Okay. So and maybe Olympics doesn't
Maybe,
jive with soccer, so that's a decision that you'll.
That I'll be forced to make.
Right. But you mentioned soccer. You're a member of the varsity team last year as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
Which one's your sport that you love?
Let's see. Well, like in summer, it's soccer, but winter it's snowboarding, and
Yep.
then it just kind of switches off all the time.
Right. And the two, we talked about the potential that you might have to make a choice, but right now they seem to complement each other
Yeah,
pretty
they do.
well.
So in the winter I don't really have any soccer, and if I do, I'll just go down one day.
Right.
I don't really miss a lot of snowboarding, and the snowboarding season's over, so I just
Sure.
don't really need to worry about it.
And both of them require a ton of training, aerobics, training, and things like that.
So it's kind of the same training most of the time.
Yeah. How do you? This year's your first year in high school. It's definitely a step up in terms of the workload from middle school. How did you balance all that?
I had a hard time at first, for sure. I think a lot of us freshmen had a hard time.
Right.
But then having like Sharma and then Bradshaw help us out was really helpful.
Yeah. So
To, like
the
be
school.
able to go to nationals and everything.
Right. So the school supports you in
Yeah.
it, but you still you got to be disciplined, right? You got to
Yeah.
figure out how I'm going to get this stuff done, and then you've got a lot of training and
Yeah.
things like that.
That's why SVSCF has a tutor. That really helps too.
Right. Good. So you guys got a new coach at Wood River coming in. You lost some players, but
Yeah.
how do you feel for the future of that program?
I think our whole team's really excited for next year, having new incoming freshmen.
Right,
And then
right.
a new coach. It'll just be a whole new atmosphere, and I think we're all excited.
Yeah, and how fortunate, to grow up in an area like this where skiing, snowboarding, soccer, there's a great culture. Do you feel fortunate to have kind of grown up in that environment?
I mean, it's amazing because like you play against community school and like you snowboard with some of them,
Right.
but like you don't talk to each other on the field.
Right,
It's really
right.
Fun.
Yeah, and you're able to do that, kind of put your friendships aside
Yeah.
and compete, and then
Then head
go
up to
back.
the mountain and go snowboard.
Right. How wonderful. Your dad is involved in snowboarding and skiing at the highest level.
Yeah.
And do you think that growing up kind of in that environment has helped you get to where you are so far?
Yeah, It was, since he used to work he was a wax tech for the skiing.
Yeah.
I was really into skiing, and then he moved to border cross.
Right, right.
Something that I really enjoyed doing.
Sure, sure. And you probably had an opportunity to talk to some of these top athletes as you were growing up and seeing what they did to become successful.
I mean, like the athletes, the coaches, I could talk to them all and ask for tips and stuff.
Well, it's so exciting to get to meet you, know you. I knew, one day when I interviewed your sister, I thought, I bet we're gonna have Zoe on here someday too. And so it's awesome to see what you've done. Congratulations, and it's gonna be fun to watch your career on the soccer field and on the mountains. So thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
My guest has been Zoe Baca, Sun Valley Ski Education Foundation snowboarder, national champ, soccer player. She's a Renaissance woman. I'm Michael David with Eye on Sun Valley Sports, keeping my eye on Wood River Valley sports and Wood River Valley national champions for you.
Better food, better price, better service. Atkinson's Market, supporting local farmers since 1956.
Are you like me and can't stand paying your insurance bill? Just when you pay all your bills for the month, then along comes that dreaded insurance bill, putting the hurt on your checking account. Hello, I'm Mark Balkos, president of Wood River Insurance. That's why Wood River Insurance is an independent insurance agency. This means we have a multiple of insurance companies we offer to our clients. This allows us to hold the insurance companies accountable for coverage, service, and most important of all, pricing. When I started in this business 33 years ago, I only represented one company to my customers. And after a while, I felt as though my hands were tied when trying to be as competitive as I could. As an independent insurance agency, we represent you to the insurance company, not the insurance company to you. This allows Wood River Insurance to be as competitive as possible. So call us today at 208-788-1100 and let Wood River Insurance represent you.
I remember going to the doctor when I was a kid. He knew me, I knew him. It was really simple. And then medicine changed with more expensive labs, medications, bigger clinics, and not enough time to explain it all. Direct primary care came along, outside the insurance system and affordable. I'm Dr. Tom Archie. At InterHealth MD, we spend the time we need building collaborative relationships. We bypass the insurance, lab, and pharmaceutical industries and pass on the savings to our patients. At our office, common labs can cost $5 to $10, and in our pharmacy, generic prescriptions often cost less than $5. Our family practice treats fractures, lacerations, and sports injuries, teaches prevention, and coordinates acute and chronic care. We don't accept insurance. Our patients pay a monthly fee that is less than a cable bill. With acupuncture, herbs, Class 4 cold laser, and a holistic, functional medicine approach, InterHealth MD is family medicine like it used to be. Affordable, personal, and looking to the future.
As a family, we've been with Harrison over 20 years. So this business is really unique to insure because we have employee housing here in the light industrial, and we have all these moving pieces. We have the car wash, we have a detailed garage where we're bringing in, over the course of a month, we can see 1 million to 2 million in vehicles pass through our garage. Nathan has been, his phone line is always open to me, and that's been huge. It's a real personal relationship. I pick up the phone and call him, and he's always there, ready to answer my questions. He's really quick with getting back to me. We have a complex insurance needs, insuring these are kind of considered hazardous sites. They require special coverage because they're gas stations. And he's been able to navigate that from personal business through and through. So Harrison Insurance was instrumental in getting us good, being well covered at a good cost basis, All of these pieces need to be considered, and when I've got my back turned and I'm focused on the business and the people and the aspects of the business, it's nice for me to offload this responsibility, which is a big one, to make sure that all my bases are covered. I need to know that if something happens, if a plane crashes into the lands short of the runway and lands on the business, that we're going to be covered. And with Harrison Insurance, I'm confident that they've got my back and that they've set me up for success.
Harrison Insurance, for all of your insurance needs. Sterling Urgent Care is now open at 507 South Main Street in Haley. Sterling Urgent Care is helping create a better healthcare experience. All patients are welcome. They accept most major insurances, including Medicare and Medicaid. They also accept self-pay patients and offer a membership program to help you take control of your healthcare costs. Sterling Urgent Care invites you to visit them at their beautiful new facility in Haley. Or learn more at sterlingurgentcare.com. Healthcare created with you in mind.
Welcome to Pure Body Bliss, your home in Haley for extraordinary movement training. Pilates, yoga, and fusion classes, as well as incredible massage. We specialize in private and semi-private sessions, dynamic group classes, and exceptional massage techniques to both realign and relax. At Pure Body Bliss, we have something for everyone, including restorative yoga, core-focused Pilates, and our studio-exclusive high-intensity burn classes, just to name a few. All taught by patient and highly educated professionals with thousands of hours of teaching experience. Have fun, work hard, sweat, then relax, restore, and rejuvenate, all in one beautiful setting. Solidify your resolutions with our complete unlimited membership. At Pure Body Bliss, we love your body.
Hi, I'm Lori McNee with ArtBeat, and I'm here today in my own home studio in Sun Valley, Idaho, with my really good friends and colleagues, Kyle Richardson and Eric Rhodes. And
I want to know why you mentioned Kyle first and you didn't mention me first. I know he's more important, but I just want to know what's going on here.
Well, he's the instigator of this whole thing. He
That's a
brought
good
us all
point.
together.
That is a good point.
We wouldn't be here right now without him.
I am the troublemaker.
That is
usually,
right.
That's usually what follows me.
So why are we all here together in Sun Valley?
So we're here today because we filmed a fun episode this morning, which is part of a larger clip that we're making, a TV series show that we're making about the arts, about our involvement with my company in the art world with Eric's company, and plein air movement is part of what we're discussing as well. So the plein air aspect of it was something I thought would be fun to do with you up here in Sun Valley.
Great.
Yeah,
You've only been bugging me for like 10 years to come up here.
And you made us go out into the snow.
Yep. You guys brought boots and all that stuff. I'm from the East Coast. I probably could have just done with sandals.
But let's back up for a minute because I didn't introduce the fact of what you're doing anyway. You're president of Royal Towns North America.
Sweep the floor sometimes too.
Okay, that's right. And then you are CEO of Streamline Publishing, publishers of Plein Air Magazine, Fine Art Connoisseur, and then you do the big, beautiful Plein Air Convention along with other things. So that's kind of what happened is we've all come together to help promote plein air painting. And so tell a little bit more of what we just, I'm dressed like this because we were just outside in the snow, plein air painting, which is, you want to explain plein air painting?
Plein air is a term, it's a French term essentially that means open air. And it was kind of coined at the time of the Impressionists it was actually used as a derogatory term when they were
I
describing
didn't know that.
Monet and friends. They referred to them as these plein air painters, these outdoor painters, which was highly unusual at the time. So that all kind of started back then and probably even before then. But today there's a huge movement of people going around the country, really around the world,
Right.
and going outdoors to paint. So plein air painting means outdoor painting, and the benefits of it are that you see color and light more accurately than painting from a photo in your studio, for
Exactly.
instance. Right?
Well, that's what I do. I am also a plein air painter as well as a studio painter, and I teach plein air painting workshops around the world. And some of you might want to go with me sometime.
You just did you did Giverny, right? You
Yes,
did Monet's
I was in Monet's Gardens in Giverny, and where that all started, the Impressionists, and then I also have been teaching in Lucca, Italy, as well, which is a different vibe, just as fun. I love it so much.
Do you
So.
guys know why the Impressionists were the first ones to go out and be named plein air painters?
No.
So there was actually, it's very interesting. It all ties back into first the Industrial Revolution. So
I know this.
things happened. Before this, they had, some painters could go outside with a pig's bladder.
Pig bladder, right?
And go out and paint, but not very many people did that. It wasn't very popular. It was not commonplace. But once they started to be able to make two different things, one was putting paint into tubes,
Right.
but
Like
also
this.
the massive explosion of pigment technology that took place during that time as well,
Right.
led to being able to have more colors available to replicate what was seen in nature more accurately.
So we have a lot of evidence that there was a plein air painting a long time before the Impressionists, maybe even so far back as Rembrandt's days. But they would have to grind color on location. So they'd
Yes.
take the pigment and they'd grind it, and then they'd have to mix oil into it. So it was a big ordeal.
Labor intensive and dangerous too, because
there's a
a lot
Hudson
of it
River
was
School painter by the
toxic.
name of Asher B. Durand, who described doing this. He would take a horse and buggy up to the top of a mountain, walk up through the trees.
An off-road one.
An off one. And then he was talking about having to grind his paints on location. So the tube revolutionized everything. It's something we kind of take for granted.
That's true.
And now there are actually some people who don't even use tube paint. They use iPads.
That's true.
Don't tell me
That is true. But we're not here to talk about that today.
No, that's fine.
So, okay.
Not
so
very many. There's only 2 people in the whole world doing it.
Yeah, Casson.
So tell us a little bit about the process of making paint real quickly, because
Yeah,
that's
sure.
pretty interesting.
It is.
Royal Talons is based out of.
Well, sure. I'll start with that.
Okay.
So Royal Talons, I'm the president of Royal Talons North America. I live in Northampton, Massachusetts. And it is a 120-year-old company, not mine, not North America, but...
You're looking young.
No, yeah, doing all right. It's all the painting. But the company is based in the Netherlands, the parent company, where they make the paints. It's been around since 1899. It's a Royal Dutch company, which is, for Americans, the cliff notes of that would mean it's kind of like being knighted as a company.
I think that's so interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a really fantastic, wonderful company. They're very proud. They make very, very incredible quality products, a lot of which artists use, not just plein air artists. But
So did it start out, it was called Talons Company, and
It
then
was
it
called
became
Talons.
and then it became Royal Talons.
Right.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
it started out
that's
as
interesting.
Talons Company making inks and lacquers in Apeldoorn in the Netherlands, 1899. And in 1949, in their 50th birthday, the Queen of the Netherlands actually designated it as a Royal Dutch company, like Royal Dutch Shell, Royal Dutch KLM. So that was a big honor, and it's something that they still are very proud of. So I run their North American operations in the business in North America, and that's how I've gotten to know you guys.
Yes.
And it's really fun to be engaged with the art community and not just at a company that you're making a cog
That's
or
right.
a widget and selling it here.
And I met you due to Eric at the
right.
Plein Air Convention, the
That's right.
famous, world famous Plein Air Convention, where I say big things happen there, and Kyle and I met, and I became an ambassador artist to Royal Talons, and then Eric and I have schemed things over the years, schemed up things, and we've made some DVDs together, and I've been featured in his beautiful magazines, and talk a little bit about what you're doing.
Well, my story is this. Essentially, I was a painter. I became a painter when I was 40. My wife bought me an art lesson. but it was all abstract and modern. Not that I have anything wrong with that. It wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to learn how to paint a still life or a bottle.
Yeah.
And so I started learning to paint, studied under this master portrait and figure artist. And then we moved to California. I started a .com out there, something that, during that .com era. And while I was painting, my wife noticed that she couldn't stand the smell of the paint, and she was pregnant with triplets, and so I had to get the paint out of the house. And so she forced me to go to the garage, and then she said, "It still stinks, get out of the garage." And so I thought, well, I'll paint outside. I never knew that people painted outside. I didn't know about the plein air thing. I didn't know what plein air well, there was no movement.
It was very small.
Very small.
Yes.
And then, so I went out to the golf course. I took a full-size studio easel. I took a card table, a chair, and a box of stuff.
Did you bring your own pigment and oil to grind out there?
Yeah, I didn't know about that at the time.
Okay.
So my canvas, I used a regular canvas, kept blowing off, and it was really a difficult thing to do, but I was determined I wanted to paint. So I later learned that there are some people who were around that did this thing called plein air painting. And so I started taking some lessons, and they taught me how to get the right kind of gear to go outdoors and make it easy. And I became obsessed with it. And then I went to an event, and there were maybe 100 people there that were plein air painting. And I thought, well, this might be a movement. And so I started a magazine called Plein Air Magazine. And well, it may not have been a movement. It wasn't quite ready yet, but we've really been promoting it now for 15 years.
Right.
And we started a convention, plein air convention.
Yes.
And because of that now, there literally are tens of thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands of people who are looking at this and saying, I want to do this too.
Around the world.
Yeah,
Yes.
not to be necessarily a professional, although some are, but just to enjoy going outdoors.
It's a wonderful pastime.
And the benefits, as a painter, the first benefit is that you see light and color differently.
Right.
Because it's different than a photograph, as I mentioned. But the other benefits is, you're getting outdoors. Like, I've never been very athletic, but I like to be outdoors, and it gave me a reason to, you set up. And when I was a photographer, I'd go to the place, I'd take the picture, and I'd leave. And now I go to the place, I set up, and I stay there for 2 or 3 hours, and I paint. And sometimes a deer leaps in front of your canvas. You remember a lot of things about it.
Right.
And so, and it's very social, right? There are a lot of people who like to go out and paint together.
Like we just did. We had a good time out there.
They like to travel together, and it challenges your brain, So, and it's something that, you can do for the rest of your life. You can do
keep improving. We've talked about
Right.
that. As we get older, many things we start not doing as well, and with painting you can keep improving with age.
Actually, and they're finding now that painting actually helps prevent Alzheimer's.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
So it cognitively, it's challenging your brain all the time, as long as you're constantly learning and growing and trying new things.
At the core of it, it's problem solving. That's what you're doing. You're trying to work against the elements of light changing,
quickly.
Shapes changing in a quick way, and establishing shapes and values and lines and color all at the same time. So it's like a giant equation. So your brain is trying to figure that out, and at the same time, while it's doing that, it's not doing all the other stuff that gives you stress and gives you, all the other issues. So it's really great.
And on the wall behind the guys here are some examples of my plein air paintings from around the world, and I've kept them as little postcards to myself, and they inspire me and remind me, trigger the great memory of where I was standing for an hour or so, and it just brings it all back.
We're living in a digital world, and our photos are on our hard drives that, it's not going to be like our kids going through our old photo albums and looking at grandma and grandpa or great grandma and grandpa. They're probably not even going to find this stuff. And
that is a good point. I haven't
when you
thought
have
of.
a painting that you've done, and you've done it with friends, and you have memories of the time, and that painting's hanging on your wall. And I don't sell those paintings. I keep those, my studies, my small ones, because I want to just remember. And I'll go out to my studio and look at them, and I'll remember who I was with and what I was doing, and it's so wonderful. So I'm curious. I'm going to ask you a question, because this is a great debate, both of you. The question would be...
He's usually the interviewer, is what's happening here.
taking his natural position.
He's uncomfortable with it.
When did you lose control?
Did you ever have?
As soon as I introduced you incorrectly, apparently.
So what I'm curious about is the great debate, because there's probably people who are watching this who are saying, well, I could never do that. And there's this debate about, talent versus not having to have talent. What are your thoughts on, so somebody who's watching this has never drawn, they've never picked up a paintbrush, they look at it and they go, gee, I'd like to do that, but I don't believe in my heart that I could really do it. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are, I get often told by people that think I can't do that. I just don't have the natural talent. I wasn't born with it. And to them, I'd say nobody's really born with it. It's a matter of how often you practice and how much attention you give to it. Nobody's born as a good basketball player either.
Well, and I think that's really a great point. Nobody says, you see a concert musician in Carnegie Hall, they don't say, well, he was born with natural talent, or a great surgeon. Right.
Well, I think it's passion, and what you would desire is a form of prayer. And if you really want something badly enough, you can excel at it. And I do teach total beginners that have never picked up a paintbrush. A lot of people, our contemporaries, are wanting to start painting for the first time, and it's very intimidating. But I have a kind of very simple step-by-step approach, as do many teachers. And that's what I think. It's fun to get a small set of paints and just play with them at home. And then there's wonderful DVDs and online tutorials and looking at magazines and workshops.
The tribe is so welcoming.
There's ways
artists are wonderful people
to
and they're
learn.
fun to be around.
Right. We've had a great time. So just to kind of recap what we did today, it's kind of an interesting story, Kyle. So share a little bit of how you brought us all together.
This is how this kind of came up. I mean, I've known you guys for years and years and years, but I was approached to do a TV show maybe a year ago. So this was a TV show based in LA, where the studio was, and part of that, it's really a lifestyle type show.
Are we allowed to share with
I think it's fine. Modern Living with Kathy Ireland.
Yes.
So I was on that show this week down in Santa Barbara, and before the show was taped, it'll air in March, and then again, I think in September, and again next year in April. So part of this was they said, we'd like you to build a story around lifestyle interests and related to what you do with the art. So this whole concept was, let me talk about our company a little bit, our culture within our company. Let me talk a little bit about the art world and different facets of it, because plein air movement and you guys is one very important part of the art world that we see. But I'm also involved with Comic-Con, and I'm involved with every aspect, because we're
even graffiti type art.
Street art, street art, muralists.
Street art.
All those kind of things. So this was an opportunity for me to also do some interviews and do some field work as a part of that show. And I did one at New York Comic-Con, and we talked to a lot of comic book artists and illustrators, and totally different than the three of us going out to paint. And then the other thing I wanted to focus on to kind of balance that was, here's this other angle of the arts, how you can incorporate it at any point in your life for various different reasons, and how that's important. And the third piece was really talking about art advocacy and art education. So we did some nonprofit philanthropical work.
You do a lot of that.
No, it's important.
Great
we have to
art
give
education.
back. Yeah, we do have a huge art education. Well, I say huge. We've got an education director. Big for the size of our company.
He's doing a great job.
Doing a great job. It goes out to maybe 50 to 60 different universities.
Right.
But we try to educate. It's part of our mission statement is to inspire, engage, and inform. So the inform part is the educational component. But also we try to really focus on other organizations that are moving the ball forward and advancing things that we need in our society, like more funding for the arts, more, so I work with a lot of universities like RISD for the STEM to STEAM program, trying to get the arts incorporated into the...
Well, and you worked with us on our veterans program. So we did, I don't know if you know about that.
No, I didn't
know.
know.
At last year's plein air convention, we announced that we were going to do a veterans program because there's a lot of evidence that PTSD
Yes.
is reduced, or at least they're given a chance to get a break away from
Right.
it. So we got about 200 people enlisted
That's
around the
wonderful.
country to start teaching the veterans, and I know you were donating some supplies and so on
Oh,
to
that's
that.
great. I do that locally with a group called Higher Ground, which is similar. I teach art to them, and it's really rewarding.
It's
and
great. We have such a
very
need for that.
healing for them. Yeah.
There's another great one. I think it's down in Texas near you. Wounded Warrior.
Yes, very similar.
Yeah, I think they're great. I mean, there's just so many things that the arts can do.
Art is very healing.
It's very healing, but
is.
it's also, I think, very developmental.
Yes.
You know, I have 2 kids. Shout out to Cassidy and Cameron if they're watching, and Alyssa, my wife. But they, you know, they really have studied quite well the development in the brain that happens with children in the arts, and what,
Which is
what
one
that
of the
can do.
tragedies of not having art programs in our schools. So my kids happen to go to a school
Yes.
that values it, art and music, and they have all this evidence about how it develops the brain. And so those kinds of things are really critical. And I think your mission, mine certainly, is to try to look for ways to get that back into
Right.
either into the curriculum, or at least find ways that people can discover it through online lessons or online academies, or free videos or whatever.
That's great.
It's really important, even as if you look at it at a grander scale, to the competitive nature of our country.
Yeah.
You know, how are we going to compete in the 21st, 22nd century? It's through innovation. And without the arts and education as young children, there's so many things that won't come out of those kids when they grow
Art
up.
is on the forefront of every great society. You
Absolutely.
know, every
Yeah.
important civilization, art, you know, sprouted.
Winston Churchill said when they wanted to reduce funding because of World War II, they said, you know, they're going to cut some arts funding. And he said, well, if we cut the arts, what are we fighting for?
Right.
You know, it was really...
Yeah.
Well, that's what I love about our town, Sun Valley here, is it's very supportive of the arts.
Winston Churchill was a plein air painter, too.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, I did know that.
It's
Yeah.
because his wife didn't want him inside smoking cigars.
There you go. So are there any parting words? We could just have so much fun. We love
all day.
chat, and we could sit here a lot longer than we should. But anything else you'd like to share before we sign off?
I'll take that one. I think it's really important for the people who might be watching this to not tell yourself that you can't do this.
Yes.
You know, if you find some art that inspires you, you're looking on a website, or you maybe take a visit to a museum, or look at books or whatever, look at something that inspires you, and don't tell yourself you can't do it. You can do it. You can learn it. All you have to do is get somebody to teach you. If you try to learn it on your own, that's okay, but you're going to get frustrated. And you're going to get frustrated no matter what, but don't give up when you get frustrated. That's the thing to understand.
I agree.
I do a free video online called paintbynote.com, and it's what I've done is I've reduced it down to basically black and white painting, because that's, I think, one of the proper ways to learn.
It is, yeah.
Because it's all about, a painting will look good even in black and white, and then I teach you how to add color on top
That's
of it.
great.
But color is a very important part of things, but you want to learn the basics of painting before you add the
Exactly.
color. And then this guy's got all this color.
Okay, and then that's
yeah,
right.
so and that's, I think, what's great about the three of us is like we bring different elements of it to the table. But you know, for me, what you said is so important, Eric. You know, get out there and paint. Just do it. You know, if the
Just
voice
do
is
it.
telling you in your head, like Van Gogh
We
said,
talked
if
about
that voice
that.
is telling you in your head you can't do it, just paint, because you'll silence it.
It'll silence it.
But I
you
mean,
know.
for me, it's also, you know, we have products that are specifically designed for the plein air movement. You know, like Cobra. We've got, this is our solvent-free oil paint that
And that's
we
my
use.
favorite.
Yeah, and
I
it doesn't
specialize in
require-
that. Right.
Yeah, it doesn't require
So
any solvents.
explain why that might be important.
Well, because especially a lot of people that are coming into painting for the first time may not have a beautiful studio like this with ventilation. They may not, you know, be able to travel where they want to go, taking solvents. And most importantly, they may have health, either want to live a healthier life or have health concerns that are allergies to solvents. So if there's a way to paint using oils, which is such a beautiful technique to work in,
So people
without having the solvents.
But if somebody doesn't know what a solvent is, can you explain what that
A
is?
solvent would be like a turpentine or an
Right.
odorless mineral spirit that is used to break down the oil paint traditionally, so that it's thinned out or that you clean up with it. and it's been used for a couple hundred years. It's not as old as some people think, but it's something that can be very toxic, especially to respiratory systems, but it can get into your
and it's bad. It gets
into your
through
skin,
skin,
through your
yes.
cuticles, and it can have
Right.
nerve damage issues for
it's
people.
serious
I know
stuff.
too many artists who used a lot of spirits and turpentine, and it has fried their brains. So we want people to be able to paint without fear of any kind of help.
And
You've just figured it out. That's why there's so many crazy artists.
That's it.
That's only one of the reasons.
That's right. Well, guys, we need to let you get on the road. You're going to fly back home to Austin, and we're going to get some lunch.
Yeah, we are.
We
Sounds
worked
good.
up an appetite out there. And so thank you so much. This has been such a treat being with you both. And I look forward to seeing you in a couple months at the Plein Air Convention in San Francisco this year. Hope some of you will join us in San Francisco.
And by the way, you don't have to be a painter to come.
No,
you can learn to be a painter
That's
there.
right.
Yeah.
You will learn from some of the top artists in the country and even the world. So thank you for being here today. And again, I'm Lori McNee with Artbeat.
Better food, better price, better service. Atkinson's Market, supporting local farmers since 1956.
Hi, I'm Anita Northwood. I live here in the Sun Valley area, and I have been inspired to create Silver Creek Assisted Living for your family. I'm inspired by my family, and we hope you will all come and take a tour of this place and understand that this is the place where your loved one should be. This is what brings us all joy and what we're the best at. Your family is our family, so come join us. Silver Creek Living is a wonderful place. It's not just about compassionate senior care. It is the best place for you to bring your loved one. We provide a beautiful environment where your family is our family. We have great food, fun activities, lots of entertainment. You can socialize with their peers, bring your family, and yet feel that you're in a beautiful, safe environment, while you can still have fun while knowing that you're well taken care of with the best of care. This could be the next best chapter in your family member's life.
La Cabanita Mex, dubbed by the locals as authentic, tasty Mexican food and drinks with a festive atmosphere. And a pretty darn good sports bar, too. Big screens all over. La Cabanita prides itself on their Authentica Cocina Mexicana. Good food, very fast service, and delicious house recipes with those special Mexican spices. La Cabanita Mex, serving lunches, dinners, catering, company parties, and takeout. Ketchum and Bellevue. La Cabanita Mex.
I moved out to Idaho 4 years ago, so I met a lot of people and I really, really like it here. In New York, I was always sort of introverted. When I came out here, that no longer was me. I became extroverted because the people here are so friendly and warm. You know, if you don't have something like that that brings you into other people's lives, it takes a long time to get to know people.
Sun Valley, and no, you're not seeing things. This is not the Olympics. This is the Jamaican bobsled team, but it's really the Catch 'em Wide Open. We're in the middle of May. It is snowing a little bit outside, but inside it's merry because we're playing mini golf. We're here at the Arduous Theater, and this is
Allie Barnhart.
And this is
Haley Walsh.
Okay. Have you guys ever done this before? Played the Catch 'em Wide Open?
Yes, we've played the past 2 years. Yeah.
What's it like?
It's always a blast. It's one of our favorite weekends here.
And why is that?
You know, it's fun to kind of dress up and you know, get together with friends and you know, have a drink at every bar and hang out. It's just a fun day overall.
And are you two serious golfers?
Yeah, we are. We're very serious. She's a great golfer.
Seriously?
I wouldn't say that, but...
Well, what does make this so fun? Have you got a memorable hole or what?
Just the community and everybody getting together and having fun with your friends, and everyone's smiling. It's a perfect... It's always a fun time. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go check out a couple more holes. This is Nick Miller, who works at the Arduous, and he had a big hand in designing their first ever hole. Tell me about it, Nick.
Yeah, it was really a team effort. We are thrilled to be a part of the Catch 'em Wide Open tradition. We are not really a bar technically, so we do sort of stand out in the lineup, but we are thrilled to be here. And like I said, it was a team effort to get this hole designed and put up.
So you designed it to look like a theater, right?
That's right. We were scratching our heads. We went down into our basement and we went through basically every piece of theatrical equipment we could lay our hands on, brought it up here, and then just sort of cobbled together a whole. You'll see we have a seating area we call the gallery section. We use some stage pieces. If you look up here, we've got some theatrical light shining a hole onto the light onto the hole. We have a water feature, and you can see we've got these stanchions, making sure that everyone doesn't, you know, climb all over the hole.
And you also have the cheese grater. Tell me about that.
We do have the cheese grater, probably the most difficult piece of the course. You'll see here, it's a ramp that's ordinarily used for driving, you know, getting motorbikes or ATVs off the back of a truck. What it does do is it really holds the ball up and it redirects the ball. So that's the one area of the course that people have been struggling with.
And what is the secret to getting over the cheese grater?
Well, we've had 2 holes in 1 yesterday during our practice run. I will tell you, we probably shot 500 balls, and the 2 holes in 1s were just hit it as hard as you can. But we're not advising that. We don't want people to do that because, you know, we've got quite a lot of televisions around here and things that we don't want to. So that's a little private secret to getting a hole in 1.
Davis, man.
Hey, Will Davis. Hello, everyone.
Have you done this before?
No, this is first time. Second, catch 'em wide open, but first time on camera. So,
What do you think of it? What seems to intrigue you?
well, for the event, I mean, catch 'em wide open. It's a great time during Slack where everyone just kind of, everyone's a little slower and there's not much going on, and so this kind of brings the community together, and it's just a really great event, and it kind of shows Ketchum's spirit, the community that we have here with all the young folks, and it's a great time, and you get to really reconnect with everyone, and everyone comes out of their holes. They're hermits for a little bit, but everyone kind of starts to come out as spring.
What's been the hardest hole so far?
Ooh, hardest hole. Let's see. I think Grumpy's was pretty tough. They have a little sort of uphill ramp into there that people were getting a little frustrated with. There was a few, 11 strokes, 12 strokes, that kind of thing. But yeah, all the holes have been really great. Best one I would say, visually especially, was Whiskey Jacks. They have a Game of Thrones. They did the Iron Throne. They spent hours cutting out cardboard, and yeah, it was really great.
But they forgot to include a Starbucks cup with it. So
Yeah, right. Yeah. And I don't know if it'll still be standing. It might be on fire by the end of the day. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, I've got to tell you, I'm envious of your outfit.
Yeah,
How did you put this together?
Well, our friend works for a company that John Daly owns, and so it's called Loudmouth Golf, and we get these kind of free, wild print, high quality things to Loudmouth. Yeah, they kind of sponsored this event for us. So.
How does it feel to be strutting around in this?
Good, yeah, John, you might give us a call later, so give us a little thanks for, exposing Ketchum to the company. I don't know, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks a bunch for talking to us.
Thank you, yeah.
And have fun.
Yeah.
That worked. That's gonna work. We're just so happy. Play it. This is live. The whole road is live. Oh, there you go. Okay, you gotta make it united right here. That's right here.
Hi, I'm here with
David and Danny.
and
Miles.
Okay. And how many years have you guys done this, guys?
8 years since I was 19. Don't tell anybody.
Okay. And
This is year 3.
okay. And what's the best part of this?
Drinking, running into everyone you went to high school with.
Tiger Woods! I hope you enjoyed our tour around one of the coolest putt-putt courses in the universe. I'm Karen Bossett, reporting from Whiskey Jack and the big throne in the Game of Thrones and some of the funnest, coolest, loving people in the valley. Until next time, this is Karen Bossett with Eye on Sun Valley, keeping my eye on Sun Valley for you.
Eye on Sun Valley, daily local news from beautiful Sun Valley, Idaho.